Good day to you guys. I'm not really sure how the lighting is looking. It looks really dark on my end, so please excuse me if it is. I almost didn't come on here today because it's been a very long day, and I mean very long. But as usual, I'm convicted, so I am going to go ahead and read this chapter. Of Exodus chapter 12. Sorry about that. I had to kind of check something really quick of the King James and Message version in one video. I'm going to just jump right in. This is Exodus chapter 12, King James version. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Yet ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up unto the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood, and strike it on the 2 side posts, and on the upper door posts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs. They shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it with haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep a feast by the accordance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that so shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation unto you. No matter of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by the ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread. Until the one of the 20th day of the month at even, 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that is which is leaven, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, neither he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for the elders of Israel, and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover. And ye should take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out of the door of this house until morning. For the Lord will pass through and smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 side posts, the Lord will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come unto your houses to smite you. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass, when ye be come to the land of which the Lord will give you, according as his has promised, that ye shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass, when your children say unto you, What mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, It is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped. And the children of Israel went away, and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, until the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night, and said, Rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go. Serve the Lord as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people, that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, We be all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneadings, troughs being found up in their cloths upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed the Egyptian jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside children. A mix of multitude went up, and also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes, and of the dough which they brought forth, out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt, and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Now sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. It came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the same day it came to pass, that all the host of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. This is the night of the Lord to be observed of all children of Israel in their generations. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall be no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth out aught of the flesh abroad and out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one of that was born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. This did all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. I'm going straight into the message. It's a very long chapter, so going straight into the message of Exodus chapter 12. God said to Moses and Aaron, while still in Egypt, This month will be the first month of the year for you. Address the whole community of Israel. Tell them that on the 10th of this month, each man is to take a lamb for his family, one lamb to the house. If the family is too small for a lamb, then share it with a close neighbor, depending on the number of persons involved. Be mindful of how much each person will eat. Your lamb must be a healthy male, 1 year old. You can select it from either the sheep or the goats. Keep it pinned until the 14th day of the month and then slaughter it. The entire community of Israel will do this at dusk. Then take some of the blood and smear it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel of the houses in which ye will eat it. You are to eat the meat roasted in fire that night, along with bread made without yeast and bitter herbs. Don't eat any of it raw or boiled in water. Make sure it's roasted, the whole animal, head, legs, and innards. Don't leave any of it until morning. If there is any leftovers, burn them in the fire. And here is how you're going to eat it. Be fully dressed with your sandals on and your stick in your hand. Eat it in a hurry. It's the Passover to God. I will go through the land of Egypt on this night and strike down every firstborn in the land of Egypt, whether human or animal, and bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. I am God. The blood will serve as a sign on the houses you live. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. No disaster will touch you when I strike the land of Egypt. This will be a memorial day for you. You will celebrate it as a festival to God down through the generations, a fixed festival celebration to be observed always. You will eat unraised bread for 7 days. On the first day, Get rid of all the yeast from your houses. Anyone who eats anything with yeast from the first day to the seventh day will be cut off from Israel. The first and the seventh days are set aside as holy. Do no work on those days. Only what you have to do for meals. Each person can do that. Keep the festival of unraised bread. This marks the exact day I brought you out in force from the land of Egypt. Honor the day down through your generations, a fixed festival to be observed always. And the first month, beginning on the 14th day at evening until the 21st day at evening, you are to eat unraised bread. For those 7 days, not a trace of yeast is to be found in your houses. Anyone, whether a visitor or native of the land, who eats anything raised shall be cut off from the community of Israel. Don't eat anything raised, only matzah. Moses assembled all the elders of Israel. He said, "Select a lamb for your families and slaughter the Passover lamb. Take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in a bowl of blood and smear it on the lintel and on the 2 doorposts. No one is to leave the house until morning. God will pass through to strike Egypt down. When he sees the blood on the lintel and the 2 doorposts, God will pass over the doorway. He won't let the destroyer enter your house to strike you down with ruin." Keep in mind, keep this word. It's the law for you and your children forever. When you enter the land which God will give you as he promised, keep doing this. And when your children say to you, "Why are we doing this?" tell them, "It's the Passover sacrifice to God who passed over the homes of the Israelites in Egypt when he hit Egypt with death but rescued us." The people bowed and worshipped. The Israelites went and did what God had commanded Moses and Aaron. They did it all. At midnight, God struck every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sits on his throne, right down to the firstborn of the prisoner locked up in jail. Also the firstborn of the animals. Pharaoh got up that night, he and all his servants and everyone else in Egypt. What wild wailing and lament in Egypt. There wasn't a house in which someone wasn't dead. Pharaoh called in Moses and Aaron that very night and said, "Get out of here and be done with you. You and your Israelites, go worship on God on your own terms. And yes, take your sheep and cattle as you insisted, but go and bless me." The Egyptians couldn't wait to get rid of them. They pushed them to hurry up, saying, "We're all as good as dead." The people grabbed their bread dough before it had risen, bundled it in their bread bowls and their cloaks, and threw them over their shoulders. The Israelites had already done what Moses had told them. They had asked the Egyptians for silver and gold things and clothing. God saw to it that the Egyptians liked the people, and so readily gave them what they asked for. Oh yes, they picked those Egyptians clean. The Israelites moved on from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, besides their dependents. Hebrews and non-Hebrews alike set out, not to mention the large flocks and herds of livestock. They baked unraised cakes with their bread dough they had brought out of Egypt. It hadn't risen. They'd been rushed out of Egypt, and it hadn't had time to fix food for the journey. The Israelites had lived in Egypt 430 years. At the end of the 430 years, to the very day, God's entire army left Egypt. God kept watch all night, watching over the Israelites as he brought them out of Egypt, because God kept watch, all Israel, for all generations will honor God by keeping watch this night, a watch night. God said to Moses and Aaron, these are the rules for the Passover. No foreigners are to eat it. Any slave, if he's paid for and circumcised, can eat it. No casual visitor or hired hand can eat it. Eat it in one house. Don't take the meat outside the house. Don't break any of the bones. The whole community of Israel is to be included in the meal. If an immigrant is staying with you and wants to keep the Passover to God, every male in his family must be circumcised. Then he can participate in the meal. He will then be treated as a native son. But no uncircumcised person can eat it. The same law applies to both the native and the immigrant who is staying with you. All the Israelites did exactly as God commanded Moses and Aaron. That very day, God brought the Israelites out of the land of Egypt, tribe by tribe. Okay, so that's the end of that chapter. It was a very long chapter there. It was like 50-something verses. I read it twice, 2 different versions there. Sorry, I'm just wiped out today. I almost didn't read this. Please excuse me banging against this microphone. I'm just pooped, guys. But I'm glad I read it, and I just pray for grace during this reading because it wasn't my best. And there's a lot that happened in it. I guess I'll go down a short list that I can recall right now because I'm like 5 seconds from just collapsing into my bed right now. I'm so tired. I've been up for a very long time and very busy. So this was what God had said in the last chapter, that what he was going to do next was going to basically guarantee that Pharaoh, no matter how hard his heart was or whatever, he was going to let them go. He did that, he did. It took all of this, his whole kingdom and everything being ruined, his whole life being cursed, down to even a death in his family, his firstborn. I don't know why anybody would let things go that bad just because you have some sort of hard heart. And I know I looked it up yesterday, like the hard heart of Pharaoh, and I just see a lot of even on YouTube or something, if I look it up or Google, I read a lot of articles, or I saw a lot of titled things about, sorry, I'm taking my shoes off because, they've been on for 16 or so hours. Anyway, I saw a thing of people saying, well, God made Pharaoh's heart hard, and I know it literally says that he hardened Pharaoh's heart, but as I said, I interpret it differently, and I could be interpreting it wrong. But it seems like, in today's time, things that we go through where, maybe you don't believe in God, there's a person, you've seen them, they don't believe in God, and they're just mean, nasty, for no reason, and they just hold on to that hate, and they just never, ever, change, they're just mean, nasty for no reason. And it's just those are people that when I think of hard heart, I think of stuff like that. There's other versions of a hardened heart for sure. But that's a Pharaoh version of a hardened heart. It's there's really no rhyme or reason to someone being that stubborn or mean or cruel and wanting to continue that, to the point of their own ruin. But to me, that's the hard heart, the epitome of it. And there's people like that now that, despite what God is doing and despite the blessings of God or even the curses of God, it doesn't really matter that this individual or these people that's Pharaoh-like in today's time, they're going to stay how they're going to be. There's nothing that they're choosing it too. They're choosing it, and maybe God, coming down on them or whatever. It just seems to make it worse because I don't even know how to really explain this. It's it almost makes a person with a hard heart want to double down on how hard their heart is. They can't admit that they're wrong. They're certainly not going to change because that has something to do with admitting that they're wrong. On top of that, they'll have to relinquish whatever control they felt they had. And in this case with Pharaoh, he was being blessed through these people's work, the people of Israel. And I believe things like that still happen here today. It could be in an actual literal sense that certain countries and things are being blessed through the Israelites of today, if you know who they are. And it could be something as minuscule or personal as just people are rewarding, and I put that in quotation marks, rewarding people's kindness for evil, and cruelty. It could be like that sort of thing too, but I digress. I just think the hardening of his heart was his own doing. I think it was just his reaction to not getting his way and being shown and revealed to his own self, having a mirror in front of him to see how wrong he really is, and not being able to get away with it anymore because God was here rectifying it and giving him chances, but like through a series of rectifications, if that's a word. But I'm sorry, I'm just tired. But these are things that, to me, that I've been thinking about. I don't think God is just using his powers to harden a person's heart, because everybody has free will. And that includes Pharaoh. He also has free will. He chose to continue to be cruel and renege on his promises that he made to the Israelites about letting them go a bunch of times. I mean, it was just countless times. We just went through chapter after chapter of him doing this. So this was the one that God said was going to do it. And as we know, God said it, so it came true. And it took not just everything being ruined, not just God taking his people back and taking these people who have a blessing, that other people who are inhabiting them can be blessed through them, which Egypt was. Not only is God taking that blessing away, he started to destroy his land, Egypt's land, and crops and animals and people, and just everything. Even the light, it was just pitch black for days. God just massacred that place. And then it took all of that and killing, the taking of these firstborn children, firstborn adults, firstborn period, even of animals. It took all of that for this stubborn, hard-hearted person to let go. And that's crazy. But like I said, I see stuff like that in today's time of people who hold grudges that aren't real, but they just have so much hate in their heart. And it's got something more or less to do with the person inside. Something's wrong with them inside. It doesn't really have anything to do with the external forces. But it exists. These things and these type of people actually exist. And I just like to kind of relish in the fact that God will rectify things for those who love him. He will turn all that bad into good for those who love him and work everything out for the good of those who love him. I think that's the more of the exact quote. So even if it seems like you're losing, or if these people are or a person or whatever in your own situation, your own little Pharaoh in your own little Egypt, even if it seems like they won't let you go, or you can't be free of it, God is working behind the scenes. Just keep praying about it. He's going to set you free, guys. I can vouch for that, okay? So I guess I'm going to say this much too. It took all of this for this person to actually give up and let these people go. These deaths. And God made sure. There's so many things just personally for me that I'm not even going to mention here. That's just personal for me to keep. But I noticed here in this chapter that there was protection for the people of Israel. And there was constantly protection for them during this whole thing. He was constantly making sure that these afflictions or wonders or whatever you want to call them that God was doing, he was constantly making sure that the people of Israel were not hurt in the middle of all that, even though they were persecuted, by this Pharaoh in Egypt or whatever. He was protecting them the whole time and giving them hints and clues and, tips on, hey, I'm about to do this thing, guys, And the Passover is here. The very first Passover. Some people don't think it's important to read the Old Testament, but it's so important to read the whole thing, the whole Bible, because you can't just read one piece and not the other piece. It's all It's all one, guys, and there's no way that I can explain it to you until you read through it at least once, if not many times. The Passover is here, and there's a clear representation that this lamb is Jesus Christ. That's what this is. The Holy Spirit's in here right now on me, hardcore. But this lamb is Jesus Christ in a foreshadowing, just like Jesus was in the very first chapter of Genesis. I think he's in the first verse. I think he's in this whole thing. But if you're only reading the New Testament, you won't see these things. But he's been here the whole time. And it's so funny because in this thing, it's telling you that this lamb without blemish and all of it's him. It's Jesus. It's Jesus Christ. His blood going over these posts, that's him in his death sacrificing and reconciling us. That's all of this. And I would love to get into this later in another Bible study when we're in the New Testament reading like Matthew and Mark and Luke and all of that. But I really want to iterate that right now for those who are reading through this the first time or have not read the Old Testament, because there's some people who are reading with me here that have not, and they didn't see the importance of it. But it's all important, guys. Every single verse, every single word here. And that's a big reason why you got to keep reading it over and over, because you always catch something new. But the blood and the destroyer passing through, the firstborn. Think about all of that. This is Jesus Christ. This is him dying for us and taking death in our place. That's exactly what's going on here. We're supposed to die because, no offense, we're wicked. Some people just straight up evil. And he died to give every single human being, every single soul a chance to get it right. And the way that a human can, because we can never do it like how Jesus or God could do it, but we can do it kind of, to the human way that is enough for God, which is why he died. But that's what this is. His dying on that cross, all of that is all through this chapter. That blood and the blood saving these people from death. That's Jesus Christ on the cross to a T. And it's funny that we're only in the second book of the Bible, and this is only the 12th chapter of the second book. And Jesus is just all through this thing. He's also in Genesis, Remember that guy that was wrestling Jacob? He's just through this whole thing. He was never not here. I really want to iterate that to you guys. It's not just about God delivering these people from Egypt. Because, Egypt can be seen as so many things. It could be seen as personal things going on in your personal life and your story. It could be seen as this literal thing that we're reading about now. But it could also just be seen as, in a big picture, Jesus Christ dying on the cross, delivering us from our Egypt, which could be hell, eternal damnation. Rescuing us from that, giving us a chance to at least choose it, to be rescued. There's a lot of people who are not going to choose it, okay? Because they're like Pharaoh, hard heart, full of hate, don't know how to move on from that, don't know how to be better, don't know how to do that stuff, or don't want to be that. But God still gives that opportunity to every single person to choose it. So these are things that stood out to me about this chapter. And I like that he says this is something for you to do when you get into the land. This is something for you to tell your children, why do we do this? It's not just being delivered out of this physical Egypt, although that's an important thing. It's Jesus Christ, y'all. You got to look this up. That's what Passover is. And I think in the New Testament, before Jesus is crucified, he celebrates that. And he goes through this whole, this is my body and this is my blood, eat it all. It says it here in this in this chapter 2, Exodus 12. It says that you're to eat the whole lamb, like it had the organs in and everything. The head was still on, the body, the legs and the bones and everything was still there. The organs, everything. He wants you to eat it all. Whatever wasn't eaten was to be burned. It's literally, if that's not a symbolism of Jesus and what he did for us, and a foreshadowing here of what he's going to do, I don't know what is. So I think I'm going to end it right there. It says that they were in captivity for 430 years during this time. And I do like the fact that it says that I'm trying to see where it actually says this because it says it in the Message version, but I'm looking in the King James version. Sorry guys, I hate like taking time out and just sitting like this and looking. I can't really find what I'm looking for, but I'm going to say this other point anyway, is that God is, when that we're obedient to him, things seem to turn out right. It says in there so many times, they did everything that God had commanded Moses and Aaron. So they did everything that God had commanded them. And though it seemed dark or hopeless, or it seemed like evil was winning, it never does, guys. God's just over there tallying up the points. He's just over there racking up the record, letting folks do what they're going to do so that when that judgment comes, there won't be an excuse. You chose to do this and you chose to do that nasty stuff for who knows how many years. For this point, it was 430. That's crazy. In today's time, you could say that there were people who did stuff for many, many years too, and there was no rhyme or reason to it. It isn't for you to concern yourself. You just keep looking at God and knowing that he's going to take care of it, and just do your part. If you know God is telling you to do something, do your best. I know we're human, so we don't always do things perfectly, but just do your best, Do your best. And stick with God. I was just talking to someone in a Bible study earlier today about it. Not too long ago, actually. Just like clinging to God no matter what. Because he's our only hope. There really is no other option. The world makes you think that there are these other options, but when you really start thinking for your own soul, there ain't nothing here in this world but whatever pleasures you can get out of it, but you can't keep any of it, and you're going to die in 80 years if you're lucky. You can't take none of these things or none of these people with you. So what's the point of, stepping on others and whatever to get what you want to get? You can't keep it, and you can't take it with you. And when you're dead, you don't know where those things that you fought so hard for and stepped on other people for, you don't know who's going to get it. It can end up going to the type of people that you hate. And then your life will really be pointless. Nobody's here. Nobody stays here forever. We stay here for such a blip of time when it comes to how long the earth has existed. I personally don't want to spend the time that I'm here doing wrong, or holding grudges, or unforgiveness, or just having hard hearts, or even the mind of materialism, like thinking that those things are the way to go. I don't even want to hold on to people per se. I mean, there are people that I love so much, but even that, I just don't even want to hold it or idolize or anything like that with a person ever in my life ever again. I did do that in my life in the past, but there ain't no good of it. It's just nothing good coming from that. So I say all that stuff to say it's late. I am going to read chapter 13 tomorrow. So the Israelites are free, guys. And let's see what they do for the rest of their lives and their freedom. I already know what's going to happen. I'm sure many of you probably already know because you've read it. But for those who haven't read, I would love to hear what you think of this chapter so far, or just this book of Exodus so far. I would love to hear what you think is going to happen. You think they're going to get their act together now? It sounds like it, doesn't it? Oh, gosh. But just remember, they're human, They're human beings. And humans be humaning, We all do have our moments and our times like that, unfortunately. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So I guess I'm going to end this Bible study with this. If you're in your personal Egypt with your little makeshift fake pharaohs, wannabe pharaohs. Don't worry, just stay with God. The whole point of it is to get you to separate from him anyway. And these pharaohs or Egypt or whatever you're dealing with may not even realize that they're being used to try to separate you from God. It's not really for them. That's their own journey to find him or not. And God gives us all a chance. We'll put it that way. But don't you turn away from him, because there ain't nothing else outside of him. There is nothing in this world that's better than him. There's nothing in this world that's even here to last. Nothing lasts here. It all goes to dust. All of it. And at some point, we're all going to die. And that should not be something you should be afraid of. And that shouldn't be something that'll make you live recklessly and YOLO either. It should be something that I won't even say look forward to per se, but it should just be something in mind to keep the perspective of life, that you're not here forever, that this does not last very long, and that there is something more, so much more to this thing called life here for this short period of time than getting and showing hate or being selfish or yada, 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 or whatever you can grab here. Like, it's just so much, there's so much more to it. And if that's really how you live your life, please just wake up. I'm praying for you guys. All of you guys out there that have some kind of mentality like that, or you are trying to get to know God, and maybe you struggle with some of that, And please know, I'm not here to judge you or anything. I'm just saying this stuff because it needs to be said. And I'm saying this stuff because I know what it was like. I used to be there, where I idolized things of this world that just, it wasn't right, y'all. It wasn't healthy. And all it did was reap destruction, and it just wasn't good. And so I don't know. I just pray that you guys find the truth in whatever way that God is trying to guide you there. Maybe he's using me for some of you. Just don't be afraid of losing things in this world. And don't be afraid of giving things up for God. It'll be the best decision that you ever made. And don't feel like you can't pray for people who are nasty to you and all. You can do that. You can care. You don't have to be like them. Let them be those things. That's the character that they choose to be, and whatever excuses they make to be that. But you don't have to be that. Notice that the people here in this story of Pharaoh and Egypt, notice that these Israelites, including Moses and Aaron, they were not retaliating at all. They were not treating Pharaoh nasty like how Pharaoh and the Egyptians were treating them. They didn't do that. They were able to keep their integrity and keep their honor, while Pharaoh was just looking like a big old douchebag. And guess what? God came and fought for them. And all they had to do was be still and follow directions. Don't let this world and people in this world try to turn you into something ugly. If they act ugly, let it be on them. And that's easier said than done. But with practice and getting to know God and reading his word and reading stories like this, you'll find a way to do it. And it'll be so easy. It'll get easier as time goes on, because you'll know the truth. And you're no longer reacting to stuff and people of this world. You just no longer, because you trust God that much. So I pray that you guys have a blessed evening, and I will read chapter 13 tomorrow. I hope I didn't talk your ears off about it, but these are things that this chapter made me think about. It's a huge chapter, It's a lot of things going on in there. Probably a lot that I didn't even speak about just now. Would love to hear anybody else's comments on it, because it's one of those chapters of the Bible that's it's huge. Especially that part about Jesus Christ dying for us. 100% the symbolism is right here. It could not even be. And this kind of reminds me also of Jacob and Abraham. No, sorry, Isaac and Abraham, and that sacrificing. He's going to kill his firstborn, or his only son. It wasn't his firstborn, but you know what we mean. His only son, and God had provided a substitute in his place. There's a lot going on, and it's constantly talked about. Jesus is constantly in this book. And it's really important for you to read the whole thing, Read the whole thing. It's all important, It is. So, Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow on the next chapter, and God bless you. Bye.